Hello, Willowbrook family. Today's deep dive is into John chapter 5, verses 19 through 21. There's a show on TV that you can still stream today that's fascinating to watch. The show is called How It's Made, and it definitely lives up to its name. If you're not familiar with it, it's a show about how things are made. The materials, the machines, the manpower, all coming together to create everyday things like tennis balls or fiberglass boats or even bubble gum. The curtain is pulled back and we get to see behind the scenes to what all goes into creating everyday items. In our passage today, Jesus pulls back the curtain to show us a taste of his deity and the relationship that he has with God the Father. You see, the Jews have been furious with Jesus. You see, he did something that was forbidden. He put himself on the level of God. Now, when he would say later something like, "I and my Father are one," well, it would make their heads explode. So in verse 19, Jesus strongly says this: the Son can do nothing himself. He can only do what he sees the Father doing. In other words, Jesus, God the Son, does nothing independently. He is fully submitted by choice to the Father's will. And in verse 20, he goes on to say that the reason all of this works is that the Father and the Son love each other so much. Their love is not like an employer-employee or a master-slave. It's like a loving father and son, and how the Son loves to do what the Father does. Well, I can only imagine the faces of the Jewish leaders when they heard that. It was inconceivable. Then in verse 21, Jesus pulls back the curtain even more with this statement: "For just as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, even so the Son also gives life to whom he wishes." The Jews had a very strong belief that only God could raise people from the dead. And in fact, it was so strongly held that I'm not even aware of even the false prophets of the past had ever claimed that they could do that. They wouldn't dare say that. But Jesus does. In fact, not only does he say it, later in John chapter 11, he does it by raising Lazarus from the dead. So in our passage today, Jesus is showing everyone that he is much more than just a man. He was all God, and he possesses the power to prove it. Now, there's something in this section of Scripture that directly relates to us. So many times in our life, we ask God, "Lord, what am I going to do? What ministry do you want me to do? What mission do you have for me?" And our loving Father tells us, "I want you to love me so much, and I want you to be in tune with my heart. And what I'm already doing, I want you to do just that." You see, you really don't have to think up of things to do. Just do what your Father in heaven is doing. You see, out of your great love and relationship with him, he'll always let you know. So, when you see other believers being used by God in a mighty way, what they did is they loved God, they knew his heart, and they listened for his invitation. And they became useful Christian leaders and servants, filled with the power of God. And that, my friend, is how Christian servant leaders are made. Have a great day in the Lord, Willowbrook.